All right. Y'all know what it is. It's still Chaos Conversation here on Terrific Tuesday, and I'm gonna still try to answer some of y'all questions. Before I get started, we'll go ahead and just ask y'all for one simple favor. It's free. All right, it's free. Don't worry about it. All we asking is if you can subscribe, like, share, and feel free to leave a comment. If any of you all if you guys feel like you guys want to tune in or come up here and you want to say something, because we're on Facebook and a few other social media posts, then go ahead. Come on ahead. Come on here. Just ask to be added to the show. We'll add you to the show. But as far as here online, we can't add y'all just yet. In the meantime, leave a comment. And if you guys want to dial in because you're too shy of the camera, I'm fine with that also. 984-464-0688. And we're going to be here probably for about 30 minutes to an hour. So you guys don't want to be, come on here, be live, be seen, fine with me. You still can dial in. If you can answer me any of these questions we have today, then that's going to be the main one topic we have. This goes for men and women, is how a lot of you all disqualify yourselves from the man or the woman you want to be with. But for some reason, I only hear the women complain about it. I don't hear the men complain about it. I only hear the women complain about it when it comes to disqualifying yourself from being with the right man, the right woman. I'm gonna try and touch on both of them, but the men they don't have to go through as much as the women do because they're not as picky as most of the women are when it comes to a woman. Most men if he disqualifies himself from being with the woman, it's normally from stuff he has or does that's not completely within his control. I'll give y'all examples of that because, again, this is chaos conversation. We're just going to keep it real. And for a lot of the ladies, if any of this disqualifies a man from being with you, you could take note and possibly, whether you have kids or not, possibly go ahead and ease up off that. For example, I'm gonna touch on how the men are disqualified from certain women. One thing is a man's height. A man's height is not within his control, but it's still used against him. It's still used against them when a woman is looking for that man to be her husband, to be her protector, provider, peacemaker. That is one thing, fellas. I mean, I'm only 6'8". I can't get any taller. I'm not gonna put on no shoe lifts or no crazy mess like that. That's just not who I am. I'm gonna be 6 foot for the rest of my life. I think I realized I stopped growing when I was 20, 22. That's when I realized I completely stopped growing. And before that, I really didn't pay much attention to it. But that's one thing for the fellas that disqualifies us is our height. Now, our height, a man's height it shouldn't be used against him. But ladies, since y'all wouldn't act like y'all got picky personal preferences and not even Jesus Christ can get past, we'll go ahead and live with it. All right. In the meantime, ladies, how about you all ease back just a little bit from men who have to be 6'2", 6'4", 6'6", 6'8", 6'7" foot, whatever. How about y'all ease down off that for just a little bit and see if you won't allow a man or the right man to come in and be your man, be your peacemaker, provider, protector, whatever you want to call it. That right there in itself is something, ladies, that is keeping the man from you. Oh, getting texts already. That right there in itself is something that's keeping the man from you or possibly even getting qualified for you because you want to sit there and judge him because he ain't the right height. Another thing, fellas, that's getting us disqualified. Again, this is not our fault. It's not our fault. That's not within our control. Is our skin complexion or our skin tone. That's something else. I know a lot of ladies who don't date a man if he's dark skinned or so dark. A lot of ladies won't date a man if he's too light. I've gotten that in the past. I've been a part of several balloon pops where I've got that in the past as well. And I mean, again, that's not within a man's control. But ladies, I'll again let y'all know that is something possibly disqualifying a man from being your peacemaker, your provider, your protector. But again, that's not within a man's control. A man can, I know some women think a man can go out there and lay in the sun, lay on the beach and get a tan, but that tan ain't gonna last but for so long. What? About a week to a month, and then he's back to whatever complexion he is. And you don't want no man of a certain complexion. Let's say he's too dark. Let's say about Tyrese Gibson, 50 Cent size complexion, and he's too dark for you, or he's just a If he's dark and you don't like him, but you like his personality, his character, everything else, you can't expect no man to go get on no Michael Jackson medication and start changing his complexion just for you. And there's no guarantee you're going to be his significant other. I mean, a lot of things that are disqualifying men, ladies, are not within his control. When it's not within a man's control, once again, you have to kind of be willing to hit the adjust button. And the best way I'll say it is like this, ladies, with Jesus Christ, if his complexion was too dark or too light for you, would a perfect man like that be able to qualify for you? Outside of him being your heavenly father, let's say for whatever reason he's not. I mean, I ain't gonna get into no religious, but let's say whatever reason he's not, and he's still walking this earth, 33 years old. He's the same complexion he was before they crucified him. But if he, let's say he never got crucified, but he still walked this earth, same age and everything, same complexion, same height, would a man like that qualify for you? That's the part I refuse to understand, is when a perfect man can't qualify for a woman, but she still expects a man born in sin to. I'm gonna get on that later. But another thing that a man is within, gets men disqualified, and this also goes for women, is women, help me understand why you want a man who's perfectly fit, great shape, financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all this other stuff, but you're not quite in the best shape of your life. But you want a man who has the six pack while you have the six rolls. But see, fellas, now that is within our control. We can hit the gym, we can cut back on our diet. Not really cut back on our diet, but change our diet and all this other mess. But ladies, for those of y'all who like a man who's healthy, it's like, all right, that's within our control. Now, fellas, we get disqualified from that, and ladies, you be disqualifying yourselves too by what you eat, by how you carry your temple of God, by how you dress, how you act. That is something right there in itself that is disqualifying men and disqualifying women. Also, you know, what you take in. But again, fellas, that's within your control. What you eat, what you drink, what you smoke, what you do. Again, that's within your control. And ladies, it's within your control also. I'm gonna pick at y'all for just a second. Help me understand why some of you all want a man who is sitting here healthy as hell and your assets ain't. Why? How is that an even playing field? That is like saying you want this man who's the champion and you ain't even the top 10, top 5 contender yet. Yeah? You only in the top 100, even though you feel, think, and believe you special. Talking to a lot of you all like that, and I hear this on the daily, and I read about it, all the posts on social media. Help me understand how the hell some of you ladies expect or to be, you expect for a man to give you a fair chance at him. And you want him to have the six pack, be 6 foot, and have all this physical, you know, but you want him to be almost close to perfect for you physically, mentally, spiritually, and you up there half-assing with most of it yourself. Help me understand. Again, you want to dial in, feel free to dial in 984-464-7288. I mean, because this right here in itself is hocus pocus out of the damn troll. And another thing I refuse to understand, when you all sit here disqualifying yourselves, it's like, all right, what the hell are y'all doing to better yourselves financially? What are you doing to better yourself spiritually? What the heck is you doing to better yourself emotionally, mentally, huh? What in the world are y'all doing, man? Because energetically, it's like you have to have enough character. And I realize this from, again, the past when I was in my 20s and 30s, you have to have enough character, but at the same time, better your character and let your character just be who you are. It's like too many times these days, what's disqualifying men and women is, when it comes to character, is trying to be someone you're not. It's trying to imitate someone who's your idol, your model, role model, whatever, from the Hollywood era that you see on TV. That's what the hell is sitting here causing relationships to break apart at an average of 1 to 5 years into being with a man, with a woman. That's what's causing them, because the characters are starting to shift, and then the true personalities are starting to show. And then before you know it, this man or woman acting like someone they're not, it starts to show, and it turns the other party off like hell. But then you want to blame the other party when you fellas or ladies, you're the ones putting on the character. But it's like, all right, after a certain point, once there is commitment, between you and the man, you and the woman. You ain't got to cut the character completely off. You can sometimes, step down for it one day at a time and let the other party see, okay, you're not a character. Like I know a woman, I'm not gonna mention the name. I know a woman who cusses like hell because that's what her man likes. That's her man's environment. But next thing you know, they have she actually had kids before she met the guy. But then she gets on him because she don't want him cussing around the kids when she cusses around him when the kids are not around. But that cussing and just being gangster who he is, that's who her man is. Before they met, while they're together, and ladies, y'all can't keep doing that, expecting the man to change his character, change his personality just because you bring your kids around him. If you meet a man and this is the way he is, then damn it, you can either let him know and give him time to change himself, but don't try to change him. And if you see no adjustments, whether you decide to do the mental health check on his ass or not, if you see no adjustments, then this man may not be the one for you. If he's feeling you like that and you feeling him, you still, I don't care how good he is in bed, how deep his pockets are, you still, if you have kids now, you still may have to take a step back and give him time to get over that. If he's not willing to get over it, then damn it, you have to just, I can't move on or show him what he's missing out on or something. But you cannot change your man and disqualify him if he's showing you, hey, look, this is what I'm coming with. This is who I am, whatever. All right. But getting back to it financially, fellas, I know we have to do a lot of financial gain, a lot of financial planning just to be who we are to make it in this world alone, man. A lot of us got to have one job, have two, and also have a daggum side hustle to make it in this world alone. So I know a lot of us are not doing that for the women, but hey, ladies, a lot of you all who are not, go getters, or you're not hustlers like that, or completely self-employed, then you cannot be sitting here expecting this man to be a hustler, work a 9 to 5, work a business, do all this stuff to bring in the money, and you want to sit back and do the basic fundamental of stay a housewife or whatever. If you have a job, good. We applaud you, but you can't expect a man or be disqualifying a man if you want him to come with all this energy, all this extra, and you're not even matching it by 1%. Better yet, 5%. And what I mean by matching it is, okay, you want your man to make 6 figures? Either be leading by example or be making at least half. That's not even, that's not even, 1% to 5%, but I'm saying half because financials are something that a lot of you women disqualify men for because he ain't got the half to. He ain't making the 6 figures. I'm like, all right. I talked about that on other previous shows. You ain't even making that, so why should he? Or why do you expect him to? But again, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to another thing besides finances is disqualifying yourself spiritually, disqualifying yourself emotionally, meaning you got too much baggage in the back, too much baggage that's still holding your assets down. And I mean holding you down as in you can't get over it. And now you heard me say on several shows before, ladies and gents, if your assets want a relationship with a man, with a woman, get therapy while you're still single. I still practice the therapy and coaching and mentoring I was taught way back when I was 14. That's over 2 decades ago. And I still practice it to this day. Now, I haven't found a therapist I can relate to, and I'm not looking as hard as I used to. But once again, everybody can use therapy if you ask me. Any and everybody can use therapy. Oh, let me see this here. Hey, what's up? Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Appreciate it, Jay. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, preparing yourself emotionally, man, is one of the best investments your assets can make in yourself while you're still single and you're still open. You're still open to a man, to a woman, or being in the relationship. But that in itself, again, you can't disqualify someone else for being who they are. All you can do is work on yourself while you're single. And when a lot of people, I used to be like this. I didn't want to work on myself because life happens, gets in the way, money gets tight, things happen. We all get it. But in the meantime, when you're on that, what I call, obviously I'm a man on a mission to find the other, to meet with the other half. I don't say I'm looking for her, trying to find her. I say just to meet with her. But a lot of y'all who like me and you want, you're single and you're still wondering, well, why this, well, why that? I don't do too much wondering. I just live life. But at the same time, disqualifying, and disqualifying women is the only thing that will disqualify women for me is this right here. This is just me. This ain't everybody. That is when I meet a woman, she may be single with no kids, or she may already have one or two kids. Fine, no problem. But when I meet, this is what disqualifies, and this is within her control. This ain't within my control. See, that's one thing about the fellas. We make things for women. We make them so she can disqualify or qualify herself in or out of it. And the thing for me was, if I meet a woman, and let's say we happen to make eye contact, we happen to have a lot of click, connection, chemistry, things in common, all that other good stuff, and she wants to, for whatever reason, brush me aside so she can enjoy her young years, dating, sleeping with, being with whoever she wants to, or whatever. If she has, let's say for example, she has one kid, okay, and I meet her with the great intentions, a great purpose to be her man, be her other half, for us to be a whole together. If I sit here with those intentions, we don't even get to a date. We probably go on one date, or we may not. But if I come to her and then she wants to brush me off because she wants to be with these fake hardcore wannabe gangster thugs in harmony, but then she's not disqualified yet. But if she goes and has a child or has another child by them and then wants to come back to me, that will disqualify her because that's within her control. She wanted to enjoy her young years and be irresponsible. She wouldn't enjoy her young that. So when when women are disqualified for men, it's normally because we will see stuff that she don't see any issue with. Like to her, having another child by another man is, a baby shower. It's a blessing. It's all this stuff. Great. For a lot of men, it's not that way. Some men will take a woman in, like me. I'll take a woman in if she has up to 5 kids. I don't care how many different baby daddies. If that's the way I meet her, I'll take her. However, if I'm willing to take her the first time and she wants to brush me off for the wrong reasons, because she wants to go chase the wrong man, but she comes back again with another child, once again, that's a disqualification. That is also a sign of, okay, ladies, when you have this is a lot of times where I say women, some women are disqualifying herself from the right man. What I mean by that is, ladies, after at least the second man that you sleep with or have a child by, after the second man, you should be able to tell something ain't right on your end. After at least the second man, it doesn't really matter how young you are. After the second man, if you still think the men are the issue, then damn it, you probably are the one who needs the help, not him. And I don't know how else to say that, because everybody, I mean, this ain't saying, again, there's no rule book to when you should sleep with somebody. And for those of y'all who want to stick to the Bible, I mean, good, I respect that. However, when you have multiple baby daddies, and let's say you're in your 20s when you have the first one, you're in your 30s when you have the second one. By that time, you should be able to grow, develop, mature. Men and women should be able to grow, develop, mature enough to be able to be held accountable for what it is you are doing wrong. Because some of that is what's disqualifying you from the right one. Don't think men, don't, oh, and you know what? Here. Okay. See, here's another woman, or here's, I don't know if this woman or man, but it's like, okay, hold on. Let me read this comment to y'all real quick. A real man can take on any number of children by one. You know what? I'm going to call it what it is. That's some BS on steroids. Don't sit here and try and tell us what a real man is to fit, your emotions or how you feel. No. You mean to tell me a real man is going to take on a woman who has 8 different kids by 8 different men? No. Not all of them will. And I don't make him no real man just because he will. No, a real man will also know his. I'm not going to read you the name of this person who left that, because I can't even. It's a strange name. I think it's just a stage name. I don't know what kind of name it is, but I can barely even repronounce the name. But some women like her, or some people like that, who think, oh, a real man will take a woman in with 8 different baby daddies. Listen, that's another way of disqualifying yourself. And fellas, I know some men who have more than one baby mama too. Normally, if a man has that, not all of them, but some of them will have some kind of child support plan in place. Not all of them will, But that normally says something. That is something that can disqualify both men and women from being with the right man or woman or whoever they desire. It is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Disqualifying yourself is also what I say is lack of character, lack of discipline, lack of self love. Oh, fellas and ladies, another thing disqualifying is how you carry is the weight you gain, the 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds, but then you see nothing wrong with it. I'll be honest, that right there in itself is another disqualification for some men and women because some men, this is how it is. Some men feel like me, this is how I feel about a woman who may not, who may be too overweight, a bit too obese. Because me, I'm only between 162 to 168. To me, if I am not able to carry a woman from a burning fire, then I feel that we may have to work on her health just a little bit. Now, if she comes to me and she's thick, fine, no, I have no problem with it. But she can't be here, you know, eating like a pig. You know, like one woman I dated, and I wasn't physically attracted to her. I dated her because she was an entrepreneur-minded woman. She lived off of Raleigh Boulevard here in Raleigh, but she ate pig feet like crazy. She would smoke, she would drink, she would eat nothing but she would just eat fattening food all day, every day, and she didn't love God, believe in God, or have a relationship with God. So that's another reason why I also left her. However, I gave her the chance. But you cannot be that obese, fellas, ladies. You can't be that obese and continue to be that and know that your man or woman don't find you attractive, but you find, you do share some click, connection, chemistry, things in common with him or her, and then wonder why he or she don't want to marry you. Because I'll be honest with you, some men won't say it, some women won't either. But how you carry yourself, disqualifying yourself by what you eat, how you treat your temple of God, it's gonna get you disqualified. I'm just being real. A lot of people won't say it. Damn, I'll go ahead and say it for them. How you weigh, what you look like on the outside is a huge factor. Some men, like myself, I can see a woman who's obese. I can see a woman who's thick as I don't know what, big as I don't know what, and I can work with her on going to the gym, going for walks, going to work out, things like that. But if she shows me that she don't want to do that, we can have a lot of things in common. I would simply dismiss myself from her and let her know that's a factor. Because again, if we got some men, a lot of men, not all of them, a lot of men like me, we feel if we get too attached to her and it gets to the point where our car may, catch on fire, which is very unlikely. We may get into a car accident together and the car is getting ready to blow and I can't, get her out of the seat. I can't get her from it because she's a bit too heavy. And that's just speaking, that's just, keeping it real. It doesn't happen on a daily, but I do know a friend of mine, actually an acquaintance back in North Lenore High School, that happened to him. It happened to his girl, and after that, he was traumatized for life. And I can't imagine it, but I try not to. I try not to forget the story, or talking to him about it. But that stuff is real when it's all comes. So yeah, disqualifying yourself by what you eat, by what you take in, by again, that's a factor. That's a factor. And ladies, some of y'all are wondering why some men will cheat on you, and that's because he no longer finds you attractive, physically attractive. Your intelligence might be there, you might be emotionally attractive, you might carry great conversations, you might do the same. But a lot of times, ladies, you're wondering, well, why does he cheat? That's one reason why. That's just one reason why. The physical attraction is not there, and it's called abusing yourself. And fellas, I'll be seeing a lot of y'all do it too. A lot of y'all do that too. I ain't gonna lie. But that right there, and also self-care, man. Self-care, fellas and ladies. This is another thing. Having shown your self-care by how you dress, fellas, that right there is what, I mean, for some reason it attracts, the women that you attract based on how we dress. Me, I mean, sagging has never been my thing. But for some, I don't know why. For whatever reason, some women love sagging. They feel men who sag and who play the fake hardcore gangsters in harmony, they feel that's her kind, her type, her preference. Fine with it, but I've said this many times on many other shows and podcasts before. I don't care who you are. You are only going to attract a man or woman who is as close to perfect as you are. As far as a financially, mentally, healthy, healthy and wealthy way and emotion, All that is going to play a factor as well. But all that comes when you are only going to attract a man or woman who is as close to perfect as you are. And it's going to boil down. And there's, once again, whether you decide to do the mental health check or not is up to you. That's the top priority for me. That's why y'all still wondering, why am I single? Because when I do the mental health check, the minute I see, I don't judge right away. I still will give her a chance. But when she don't even see, or she don't want to even admit she has a mental health issue, to me, that's the flag on the play. A lot of you all may ignore it. I'm just at a point in my life now, I'm not going to ignore the red flags. I'm not going to pick them up and keep playing either. What I mean by, I'm going to finish the date, because normally I'll take care of the first date. I'm going to finish the date with her, but at the end of the day, in our conversations, she can tell me one thing, but when she shows me something completely different in person, you know what? I ain't got on me right now, but that's the flag on the play. When she shows me something completely different in person, all right? And that right there are just quite a few things that are just getting men and women disqualified, and they're still wondering. Fellas are asking me, and so are women, well, where's she at? Where he at? Where all the good ones? Where all the, where they at? That's what it is. Disqualifying yourself, and I mean, I know, men and women, a lot of us fluctuate, up and down the scale. A lot of us do. I mean, every time the summer comes up, people are out there trying to, walk around, run around, and run the track and get in shape and all that. Good, but and here's another thing, man. If you're gonna if you feel that you're too overweight, too obese, as I hear as I hear one girl say, she's on the chunky side. If you see yourself going down that road, the gym is also a great place you will find a man or a woman, because what you see with your own naked eyes before they even know you exist is the effort from a man or woman. If you go, I know a man who would go to the gym and he would say, you know what? That's where he found his mate at. I don't know where they're at now, but last time I spoke with him, they were engaged. I don't know where they're at now. But he's like, that's what he found his woman at, because he would see the effort. He would see the energy. He would see, he said the only thing that kind of turned him off was the masculinity. I'm like, dude, how's that? How is it? I said, as I talked to him back then, he was like, well, she's trying to get too muscular. I was like, all right, dude, well, and he was, and what scared him also, well, they didn't scare him, intimidate him, but what kind of, he said, bothered him at the time, and she was a little bit bigger than he was at the time. But next time I knew they were engaged, it turned out, they ended up working together. They probably married. That was the spot where he met her at, the gym, because everything he saw there and calculated and took note on. I'm like, all right, cool. Great. He even gave me some new ideas of ways to look at it. He's like, don't look at it as a woman being too masculine. Look at it, as this and that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now, me personally, a lot of men may feel like me. A lot of men do not like, some men are okay with it. A lot of men do not like to, hold and caress the woman who is muscular. It's different from being tight, well, not tight, what's it called? Fit. It's different from being fit, from being too damn muscular. Help me understand, ladies, what man do you really honestly truly feel wants to rub on a woman who has muscles, who has more muscle than him? Sometimes. I'll be honest with you, there is not that many. Some men don't give a damn, but most men are not trying to rub on a woman or hold a woman that is that has more muscles, or who's more, fit than he is. And ladies, that's another thing. A lot of you who want a man who's fit, who's showing you he has all this hard work, dedication, sacrifice, commitment, how he treats himself. And he has a self-love, discipline, control, and self-respect for himself on the physical side, and maybe even the emotional side and psychological side. However, you cannot be wanting a man like that and you sitting here not showing none of that on yourself. Or even when you talk, text, or you go on the first date with him, or you keep going on dates with him, and you have what I call a baggage of BS, or you have what's called damage beyond control to yourself. But you want this man who has all this. I'll let you know right here now, that again is disqualifying yourself in some cases, in a lot of cases. And for those of y'all wondering, well, ladies, I'll go back, like I've said before. You want a man who's all this, but you can't match barely anything but a conversation with him. Once again, disqualifying yourself is not the other party's fault. Men or women, disqualifying yourself is not the other party's fault. That's all I can say on that part, man, because I'm going to go ahead and go on to this next topic of women who claim, a lot of y'all women who claim you ready for this husband. Fine, no problem. No problem. But help me understand, ladies, if you feel or if you say you are ready for this husband, how do you know you're ready to be the wife, though? What the hell have you been practicing to know for sure that you are ready to be the wife for this man that you demand, desire, and claim you deserve? How do you know? Help me understand. Once again, if you want to dial in, go ahead. 984-464-0688, man. Dial in. Let us know what you think, or explain to help me understand, ladies, how you feel this man, or this, you say you ready for this man to be your husband, or whatever the case is, whether it's the next man you meet, or the man you've been dating or committed to for the past X amount of months, years. How the hell do you know you ready to be a wife, though? What have you been practicing? What have you been doing for him as your man? What have you been doing for him when you go on date? What makes you feel you have all the credentials to be the wife? Because a lot of you out here, I still see you claiming, you're ready to be the wife, be the mom, have the family, whatever. But a lot of the same habits you had when I first met you in the early 2000s are the same habits you still have today in 2025. I mean, even though you were a teenager back then, or whatever, early 20s, whatever, but you're still doing some of the same stuff now that you did back then. And it's like, it's in your speech. I see it up here on the comments and all these posts on social media. I mean, I'm not with you 24/7. I'm not the one committed to you, but the way you're carrying yourself, and you have about 10 to 20 of the same bad habits, key word, bad habits you had back in the early 2000s, and you're still claiming you ready to be this, be this wife, be this mother, or whatever to this man. Once again, I know y'all see the bookshelf back here, but how many of y'all doing the personal development on the regular? I'll be honest with you, I haven't read all those books, but probably, I'm gonna say like only a hand of them. But how many of y'all doing the personal development? How many of y'all are bettering yourself in a lot of ways to prepare yourself for this man to be your wife? For you to be a wife to this man. Because that's another error where when I talk to women on the regular, that's what I hear. I don't hear, her practicing or her ready to be the wife. I hear she wants the husband. I hear she wants to be a mom. I hear she wants to have a family. Yeah, you want. That's like hitting the lottery. That's the best way I can break it down to y'all, ladies. Now, I don't hear the fellas complain about that as much as the ladies. So once again, ladies, and women, I'm gonna talk to y'all because I don't hear the men complain about that as much. I'm not saying he's ready to be a husband all the time and all that. No, what I'm saying is, because he don't complain as much, I'm not going to speak to them right now. But ladies, since you're the ones mainly complaining, there's limited, because men do have more options to choose from when it comes to marriage. But ladies, the way you guys narrow down men to who can qualify for you because you feel you're so special. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, when you're the ones disqualifying men, or you're the ones sitting here like, all right, you're so special that you want this man to do the basic fundamentals. You want this man to chase you. You want this man to do all this to get you. Okay, fine. But while he's doing all that, can anybody, male or female, don't even matter, come up here and help me understand what the hell are women doing to better herself, to be that wife? Because these days have changed from the daggum 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even to the 1990s. Times have shifted, times have changed. And ladies, I'm still hearing the same thing. It hasn't changed one bit when I hear that women, you want this man to bring you peace, you want this man to be your provider, you want this man to be your protector. What the hell are you giving him or bringing to the relationship of the commitment or the marriage? What are you bringing that can match that same energy and have that same value? I'll wait. Besides time, because the man always has to invest time. But see, the man, we have to go for a lot of the tangible things also, because we have to come with the bag or enough money that can get you the tangible. So besides that, besides the time, besides the effort, besides the energy, besides matching all that, what the hell are you bringing to a man to be his wife. Besides maybe 1 or 2 kids at the most. Let me see. Yeah, see? Good answer. Good answer. It's still dead silent because that right there in itself, normally the answer is nothing. Nothing. What is it, ladies, that, for you to be his wife, what the hell can you bring him or do to him or get for him that no other woman can? Have y'all ever stopped to ask yourself that? And fellas, I'll ask you the same thing. What can you do? What can you be for her that no other man can? Besides the title of being her husband, or ladies being the title of being his other half, his wife. And that is another thing. When I sat here, I had a deep conversation. Next thing I know, the manager, I'm not going to mention the place we were at because they ain't paying me to advertise for them, but the place we were at, it got so intense at the place, the manager had to come and ask us to either calm down or step outside, because this right here in itself, I'm not saying it's BS, because it's, a lot of people who still have, like myself, who still have the hard desires to be married to another woman, to another man. For ladies want to be married to another man, and it's like, all right, better on yourself. But again, I even ask myself that question these days, and that is, what do I have? And I look at, a lot of materialistic stuff I have, but besides the materialistic stuff I have, I'm always like, man, I'm starting to say the same thing to women. I say to some fatherless kids, when I tell you, I just pick it for a few of the fatherless kids that come across my path, and I'm like, I'm the best dad you never gonna have. And I'm starting to say the same thing to the ladies. I'm probably the best husband you never gonna have, man. And I say that because I consistently work on myself, any and all ways. But at the same time, working on myself shouldn't disqualify me from, from being a husband, being a man, being a woman, being with the right woman. Bettering yourself. If bettering yourself disqualifies you from being with a man or woman, he or she ain't the one. If you guys disagree, once again, feel free to leave your comment. Feel free to tune in anywhere you can. Go ahead and leave your comment here. We're live on Facebook, but we also here on StreamYard. It's probably posted to YouTube in a little while. But in the meantime, that right there in itself, there's just so many times in the times that we're single, and time's getting away fast as I don't know where. It's already March of the year, man. Yeah, it's already March of the year, and the summertime's coming up. I know all the ladies get ready to go get their manicure, pedicures, and try to hit the gym and get in shape for the for yourself, for the man, whoever you're trying to impress, whatever the case is. But it's just ladies, a lot of you all who I speak with, and a lot of the comments I read, when you're not bettering yourself to be with this man, be with this guy who has all this, that you want him to have. If you're not going to better yourself, you can't sit here and blame him. Blaming the man for what's beyond his control is not a fair fight. Life ain't fair. We all get it. But disqualifying men, that's why you're getting what the results you're getting. Because a lot of you all just are disqualifying men who cannot even help, but who God made them. And it's like, get off the radar. Almost, I can say 90+% of women do that. That's just not just here on the East Coast. That's all. I haven't been all over the world yet, but that's when I read the comments and I click on the profiles and I see where they're at, where they're from, and they're overseas, but they're in this group for whatever reason. When I see that tells me right there in itself, fellas, we're not completely, I repeat, completely the issue of why she won't open up for us. It's normally, hey, it's her. This is one thing I have learned. In this world, if you guys disagree, feel free to dial in, feel free to leave your comment. A lot of women, what they're doing is she's going with her intuition over God's word for what may be best in store for her. That's what keeps happening too. A lot of the women who are single, that's what the hell keeps happening. You keep going with your intuition, and rather than what God may tell you or try to show you, but because you're so blinded by what society feeds you, a lot of you all keep on keeping on, going after what you know is not best for you because you want spontaneousness. You want a man who's spontaneous. You want a man who's adventurous. You want a man who's all this other stuff. Still, you refuse to do the mental health check on him, but that's on y'all. And you still want to complain about it, that there's no good men. You still want to complain. And this is one thing else. One thing I've learned. a lot of the men who like me, a lot of us who are good men, we are never the top priority until after the fact. A lot of women was, get past her 40s and then realize, whether she had a baby by more than one man, whether she got heartbroken, whether she went through hell, whether she did, did whatever, she'll come back and then she'll want us to take her in. Talking about we find her intimidating. Get the hell out of here. Good. I don't know why it's like that. I do remember there's a video out there that Tupac Shakur did, and this is when he was a little bit, to me, a bit feminine, because probably because he only 17, 18. I forgot how old he was, but he did a video where he talked about the good. He was a good man. He just couldn't get the women, but the minute he changed that, thuggish side of him, because he was an actor. He was one hell of an actor. The minute he changed that side of him, for whatever reason, he got more attention than he knew what to do with. And go back and study, that. And I look at that and I'm like, that, I don't know why the hell so many women are like that, but that's just the way, that's just the way women are. Some men be like that too. But at the same time, ladies, if you're gonna exclude, because I was one of those. If you're gonna exclude the good men and go for the toxic men, once again, that ain't his fault. That's yours. There's no way in hell. I don't care what your pastor say. I don't care what these celebrities say. I don't care what nobody. It don't matter what title they have, how many books they wrote, what title they carry. It is not a man's fault if he's toxic or he's nice, but you choose to be with him or you choose not to be with him. It's not his fault, because that's who he is. If you're a woman who knows you want the adventurous, you want the spontaneous to come from this, again, toxic dude who's just, again, fake hardcore, wannabe, gangster, thug, and harmony. That's, like you always hear me say, that's the business your ass has chosen. So deal with it. Deal with the consequences. Don't come crying, to me, to the world, to social media, talking about it was a toxic guy. That is, why the hell was he even on your radar? Let's say you decide still not to do the mental health check. Okay, because a lot of y'all overlook that anyway. But let's say he's still toxic, and you still want to be with him for whatever reason, because he puts on a facade that makes you feel, good. And I do know 80 to 90% of women are great listeners. They go by and they go off of emotion based on what they hear. A lot of them do. Not all of them do though. So just because he may not be lying to you, but he's sitting there playing around with the truth just to get you to take him in, or just to get you to go with him. And then you find out he ain't the one. Normally it's after you done slept together. And another thing is, I find it's one who doesn't have the genuine interest that you do in him, or you don't have the same interest in each other. When it's not mutual, that's another sign. It's a flag on the play to take a step back and hit the pause button or slow down or something. And it's, a lot of people just call this energy these days. When the energy is not the same, if you want to keep being with him, ladies, you want to keep sleeping with him, you keep be with him, because even though the energy is fading at an early stage, let's say by the 8th or 9th or 10th month, the energy starts to change or it starts to fade away. It is hard to tell, because all you're going to keep hearing is I love you too. But again, when you hear that, you should hear it should be said with the same energy it was said when they first stated it. Fellas, I hope y'all caught that too. Because when the energy starts to shift, that is normally a sign. And I've even ignored it in the past. That's why I can say that from speaking from experience. When I heard that, I'm not going to mention my ex's name, but when I heard the energy start to shift, that was the flag on the play. I didn't pay no attention, even though she's the one who cheated on me. I'm over it, and we're still friends to this day. But it's like it's the energy shift. When there's a flag on the play of that, I don't know how else to put it. That's when your assets should go ahead and put the caution switch on. Some of y'all don't want to do that. I know I did. I was 25, 26 at the time. I didn't want to do that either. No, I didn't. And a lot of times, ladies, when a lot of you women who are sitting here still wondering, you probably got your SHIT together. That's good. You probably got all your stuff together, which is good. But a lot of men like myself, we're becoming allergic to all the BS that we have to go through to get the right woman. And it's not that we're not willing to work for her or invest in her. And there's a difference between investing in a woman or man and renting him or her or leasing him or her for a period of time. And a lot of men like me, I don't like to lease or rent a woman for even a second. I just don't. And a lot of men are like that. They don't like to lease. They don't like to rent. They want to own. So they want to invest in her with a purpose, with a meaning behind it. But now, ladies, when you want to sit here and be like all these other women you see on social media and order meals worth $200 and take all this food home to your kids and stuff like that, that's unacceptable. When a man has good intention, trust me, some men might go ahead and do that one or two times, but don't expect that to be a daily habit on him when you guys go out. Whether you guys go out shopping, whether you guys go out to eat, whether you guys do whatever, and you expect him to keep paying for kids that are not his, even though you met him with him. And trust me, there may be times he may not be willing to. There are times he just might. Like me, some days, I don't even I went on about 2 dates last month. Damn, last month already gone. Damn. But yeah, I went on 2 dates last month, and one of them, not that both of them had kids, but one of them had one child, the other one had two kids. And there were times we went on dates, and it's just because I guess I just got paid or something that I was willing to, give the kids a little something. I didn't get the kids everything they wanted, but I gave them a little something just to, because for one thing, I love kids, and kids have a lot of positive energy in the system, and a lot of them are a lot innocent. A lot of kids are very innocent. But I mean, I went on I didn't say 2 days. I went with two different women on more than one date. We dated about 3 or 4 times, and for whatever reason, they decided to slow down. One decides, she knows she caught on to how much I love kids because I show kids a lot of love, and she was just like, I don't think I can have another one. I don't think I want another one, and because I think she was 3 years older than I am, and she just said, enough is enough. I thought, all right, respect. It's a numbers game, but I was dating with intention because I met her, and she already had the two kids, so. I mean, she knew. I mean, if she didn't catch on that I love kids, I guess she wanted to see for herself that I was serious about, kids. And after about, a third or fourth date, she realized, yeah, I do want one of my own. So she's like, can't give you one. And the other one just, is going through the numbers. There's no rush. I mean, was I dating with intention to possibly get a commitment? Yeah. Dating is just dating. I didn't stay with neither one of them. But dating, going through the numbers game, that's part of it, man. That's part of it. And there are times, you know what? Ladies and gents, here's the best way, because I know a lot of ladies are a lot more emotional than men. But ladies and gents, one thing you want to do, if you're dating with a purpose, with intention to, commit and marry this person, even though it's hard to tell within the first few days, but if you're dating with a purpose, the best way I ask to see if I'm the only one that they're with is I ask a simple question. Who else is on the radar? How many do you have on the radar? Normally, a woman can tell what the hell I mean by that. Now, if she lies up front, then that's the sign to go ahead and step aside or leave her alone. And I've had to do that a few times, quite a few times, because she may tell me yay or nay, but then I'll see her post something, or I don't even go through her phone. She'll sit there during dinner and be on her phone texting her ass off, and then not even realize she told me, some guy I met. I'm like, okay. And I'll ask her a few questions. I don't judge right away, but that's another thing. It's all about the questions you ask. When you ask the right questions and you see, again, flags on the play, that should tell your assets that you are not the only one on the radar. I prefer women to just be upfront with me. And when she's upfront, there's no hatred, there's no dislike, there's, a wall don't quite go up that fast. But I will say, when the when a woman's upfront with you fellas, be willing to take it too. And ladies, same thing. When a man's upfront with you saying you are not the only one on the radar, I mean, hey, let him miss you. let him, feel free to step aside and, continue to date others with a purpose, or, go through the numbers any way you can. But it shows when people are honest about it, that's one of the main things I ask for in dating or in getting to know her is being honest, and being respectful is number one. But being honest is right there behind it. But yeah, am I the only one on the radar? Or how many do you have on the radar? And I've had a woman be honest with me before. There's 3 of y'all. Okay, cool. I don't have a problem with that because it was honesty. But then once she does say that for me, there are certain boundaries that I'll start to set that may not have been there before. But I mean, that's just me. That's just me. But what time is it? Yeah, we're going to close here on Chaos Conversation, man. But this is just to answer some of y'all questions about as far as disqualifying yourselves, and then ladies, bettering yourself, improving yourself for the husband. Don't just, to be the wife. Because hopefully most men who are going to make you his wife, most of their assets do want you to be the mother if you're not, to his kid. So if you're a single parent, you're a single mom, and you've already been down the road of giving birth to a child or two, normally you would know what it takes as far as the things you got to sacrifice, the things you got to give up. And if you don't want to go through that again, because I know a lot of women who tell me, one and done, or I ain't having no more, whatever the case is. When your assets don't want to have no more, it's best you bring it to the man's attention, who if he does want, because some men already have one child of their own or 2 of their own, and they don't want no more. So again, that all goes through, in the texting, calling, and dating, all that other stuff. That's when you can find that out. But if you're like, if you run across a man like me, who still would want one child of his own, and you can be like an old girl who, again, I dated last month, and she just said, I see how much you love kids, and I don't want any more. And we just called it that. When a man's like that, he's honest and upfront. Damn it, the best you can do is be honest and upfront with him. Don't waste your time. Don't waste his just because he's good in bed, just because he has this stuff together, or you like this, you like that about him. You guys have a lot of click, connection, chemistry, and things in common, and you don't want to let it go. Trust me, that's where, again, sacrifice is going to have to be made. And it's either going to be made now up front on the front end, or it's made on the back end. And normally what I'm learning, the back end, when the sacrifice comes on the back end, it ain't cool. Especially if you guys are married by that time. Now, some people, some of y'all, some of y'all are okay with going through divorce. Me, it is probably a habit I have. I just don't believe in going through divorce. And it's not, you're never going to know all the answers about the other part, about the woman you marry, or ladies know all the answers about the men you marry. But it does narrow down your choices a lot. And for me, here on Chaos Conversation, man, it is just, only way I know how to say it to y'all is to keep it real. That's it. That is it. And keeping it real in relationships, that's another thing, fellas, that even holding her accountable, based on how, I'm gonna touch on that for just a few more, about 5 minutes. I'm gonna touch on that for just a second. Holding her assets accountable and holding yourself accountable, it's going to say a lot during the dating scene. It's going to say a lot during the commitment. And that's before you pop the question. And based on, I ain't going to tell you where to grade her ass or where to grade his assets, ladies. But when you hold them accountable, you're going to start to see a lot of the true colors show. Now, once again, when the true colors start to show, because to me, the true colors show when you catch him or catch her off guard. I don't care who they are, where you are in life. That is the best way to see if he or she is ready to be your wife, your husband. And sometimes, I'm not saying you have to put on an act. However, the best way to see the person's true colors when you catch them off guard is to wait for the time, or try to make the time for something, but for something to take place that means a lot to him or her. And I'll give you the example. I'm not gonna say my student, but one of the young ladies I spoke with way back when, who knows me from school. One thing she did, I didn't even tell her to do this. I just told her, the same thing I just told you all. Find something, wait for the moment to present itself, and get him or her out of their comfort zone, and see what they're gonna do for you. I think I've even told the story before, when all she did was he went to the, I think he went to an NFL, he went to the, what's it called? Yeah, he went to go watch a football game with the fellas. And then she goes and does her thing with the ladies. But then she has a car issue. And she said she called him right, I think it was a second quarter or something like that. Second quarter, second half. I can't remember which one it was. But she calls him saying, I'm X amount of miles away. Can you come help me? That right there, and she knows he's a huge football fan. I'm not gonna say which teammate is his favorite, but that is when she told me they had been together for 2 years. And after that, she told me it wasn't just how he responded, it was the concerning questions he asked her while she was having the car. And she was really having the car issue. She didn't try to act like it. She was really having the car issue. So she stuck, and then she comes back to me. Well, she told me about the story later, and she says it was a concerning question she asked. Hey, do you have a spare tire? Hey, do you are you on a safe place? It was all the concerning questions he asked first, and he said, all right, I'll be there in X amount of, in a minute, whatever. That is what told her and what showed her, and then she said they had been together for 2 years. So I'm taking they were committed. They were done with dating, so stuff like that. That is what you guys have to start learning how to do before you give this person your whole heart, or before you completely fall in love with the person, is seeing, do they feel the same way about you that you feel about them? But then one question I asked her, and I ask a lot of you women, is how can you return that favor? How would you return that favor of showing him the same concern, of showing him the same energy? If he was in a situation, he would probably wouldn't call you if his car broke down, but how would you show a man like that the same concern, the same love? And then in her story, and when she's telling me all this, I'm listening to the story from front to back, and when she's saying all this, man, people have to show you who they are at any and all times, and you have to be able to, again, she said to break it all down, it's the energy that he, and the concern that he was acting with, or not even say acting, that he was, he was showing her that he wasn't acting one bit. I don't know where they're at now as far as a relationship, marriage, or whatever, but like I said, high school was over 20 years ago. That's where I knew her from. And even though it's, you go out to eat, you go enjoy yourself here and there, and you talk to people here and there. I haven't seen her on social media as much because for whatever reason, I tried to even look her name up in the search box and she just nowhere to be found. So I'm guessing they went to the next level, probably married. He just, don't want her in the spot like that no more. I don't know. But that right there in itself that's what I mean by people got to show you who they are before you fall too in love with him or too in love with her. And then in closing, I'm just going to keep it real. Relationships today are not quite going to go back to what they were during our parents, or for those of y'all who are like me, 40 plus. Everything that worked out for our grandparents and parents is not always going to work out for us. Some of the basic fundamentals are all it takes. But keep in mind, there was no social media back then when our parents or our grandparents were, trying to get at each other, be with each other. To me, there's just too many distractions, and there's too many people who try to act or be like someone they're not. And then also buying too much of the BS on social media and trying to compare it to their man, their woman. All right? But that's it, day on Chaos Conversation. Just keeping it real and hopefully answer some of y'all questions. But again, you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, also on TikTok, and now we're also on YouTube as well. And Facebook just sent me these messages saying that a lot of our lives are going to be taken down. They're only going to be up here for like 30 days or something like that. So if y'all get a chance, tune in while you can, get whatever you can from it, because I think they said they're going to start deleting them after 30 days now. But they will be on YouTube. You guys can always go find us there. All right. Again, Chaos Conversation, terrific Tuesday, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.